Chapter 8, Heroes and Villains. When I got to the kitchen, Marcus's mother had already set up the table, and his older brother, Daniel, was just finishing up his homework. Luckily, we had a substitute teacher today, and Mrs. Whiston had forgotten to make copies of our homework, so we only had to do our nightly reading for our reading log. Don't forget to wash your hands, Daniel, his mother reminded him as he was putting his science book back into his backpack. Hello, TJ, Marcus's mother greeted me as we entered the kitchen. She reminded me of a mother from a cartoon show. She was always sweet, and it seemed like she was always doing more than one thing at once. Cooking and cleaning, washing clothes and helping us with homework. She was a pretty neat lady. I heard that your day didn't go too well at school today, she said in a "is what I heard true" kind of voice. I replied. I've had worse. Oh, so I should skip the sloppy joes for dinner and make a vegetarian dish instead? She smiled. No, 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 no. Today was pretty bad. I just meant that I've had some pretty bad days in the past too. And some were worse than today. I tried my best at a save. Oh, there you are, she said as Marcus finally came into the kitchen. Sorry, I had to use the restroom, he explained. Go ahead and serve TJ, she instructed. I never knew why, but whenever I was over at his house, Marcus's mother made him serve me. No matter how many times I protested that I really was a big boy, despite my actual size, she would counter and say that I was a guest, and that in this house, guests were treated as royalty. I guess it was a good thing that we could hear when someone was coming up the stairs, because she probably wouldn't like it when I helped Marcus clean his room. I'm pretty sure kings and princes had servants for that sort of thing. But I couldn't stand a messy room. We would be doing homework, just hanging out, and I would automatically start picking things up and putting them where they were supposed to be. Except dirty underwear. That's just gross. After dinner, Marcus's mother cleaned up, but I made sure I took my plate and cup to the sink before she could finish chewing and tell Marcus to do it. We headed up to his room to finish working out all the details of the game. I had already come up with most of the ideas in my head. Marcus pretty much just helped me decide if the ideas were good or bad, or if I just needed to change them up a bit. I had left my notes in my backpack, so all I could do was explain it to him. Marcus pulled out some paper from his backpack and took a pencil from his desk so we could write our own thoughts down. As I shared my ideas, he pointed out a flaw in my game and helped me fix it. As I continued to explain the rest of the game, he came up with an idea of his own, a really good idea. I was getting so excited. We were in the middle of an idea when the phone rang, though neither of us heard it. We were too focused on finishing the details of the game. Then you could, Marcus was saying, when there was a knock at his bedroom door. TJ, your mother just called. She said you still have homework to finish, Marcus's mother relayed. But Mom, Marcus whined, and if I'm not mistaken, you haven't finished your spelling sentences, his mother said in a "and that's final" sort of tone. It's okay, Marcus, I said, patting him on the back. I'm in enough trouble already. If I don't go home, who knows when I'll get to hang out again. I picked up our notes and headed out. So, how was dinner? My mom asked as I entered the kitchen. She was washing dishes and listening to merengue music. Good, I answered. I'm just a bit tired. After all that hibernating you did this afternoon, Mom said, rinsing off the plate and putting it in the dish rack. Yeah, I feel a good food coma coming on, I said, patting my stomach and faking the best smile I could muster. Mom laughed. Guess someone had a bit too much to eat, huh? She remarked. Maybe a little, I answered. Well, go ahead and jump in the shower as soon as your sister's out, she ordered. Okay, I said, exiting the kitchen. Don't forget to do your homework, Mom called after me as I ran up the stairs. After I got out of the shower, I went straight to my room. A few minutes later, there was a knock on my door. Come in, I said. Don't think you're out of trouble just because I let you go to Marcus's house, Mom started. His mother called when you didn't show up and wanted to make sure you were okay. Seems Marcus told her about what happened at recess and lunch. It was his idea to make sloppy joes. Suddenly, there was a thump on the wall. It distracted Mom, which might be a good thing. Have you finished your homework? Mom asked as she refocused on me. Not yet, I answered. Then get to it, she ordered. I only have to read from my reading log, I explained. No math or language arts? Mom asked. No, I said. We had a substitute today, and Mrs. Whiston forgot to leave the homework for the sub. What about your spelling words? Mom reminded me. Oh yeah, I'll write them 5 times each before I read. I said. Make it 10 since you don't have any other homework tonight, Mom ordered. Okay, I said, not too happily. I knew better than to argue with how many times I had to write my spelling words. Since I had been diagnosed with dyslexia last year, a special tutor at school and Mom had been working with me to recognize letter combinations and sounds. You see, sometimes when I look at words on a paper, letters are all jumbled up or backwards. On a bad day, the words aren't even in a straight line. They look more like a river full of letters, and sometimes even took on the shape of hills that I draw in my desert pictures. Luckily, Mom had read this book from the library that showed her how to use underlines and overlines to make me notice certain letter combinations, like TH and CH. She would also use wavy lines to help me with the sounds vowel combinations made, like OU and AI and stuff. She would put boxes around letters or dots on top of letters or under letters. It was really helping me to read better. Not only was it helping me to read better, it was helping me to write better too. I would use the lines and boxes and dots when I was writing to make sure I spelled words correctly. I went from getting F's on my spelling tests to getting a C plus on last week's spelling test. After writing my spelling words 10 times each, reading for 20 minutes, and writing in my reading log, I tried to go to sleep. Tried being the key word. All I did was toss and turn. After an hour or so, I decided to get out of bed and put my extra energy to some good use. I walked over to my desk and decided to add another block to the comic I was working on. Batman was still battling the Joker. Joker had just unveiled a huge toy gorilla that caused anyone who had metal on to be instantly attracted to it. It looked kind of like the one at Chuck E. Cheese. You know, the one where you have to prove how strong you are? Anyway, the Joker had designed his toy to have a special ability. Once you were magnetically attached to the gorilla, its arms closed around you and began to squeeze tighter and tighter. Batman's spine was currently being crushed as he thought of a way to escape. I just wasn't sure how he was going to do that exactly. Concentrating on a solution must have exhausted my brain because I woke up the next day at my desk. As I got up, a line of drool from my desk stretched all the way to my face. Oh man, some of my artwork is smeared now. So, this is how it works, I said to the guys and Sammy before school started. It seems Marcus couldn't wait to tell everyone that I had finished the details of the game. But luckily, he kept his promise to let me be the one to introduce it to everyone. TJ got in trouble with Mom, Sochi shouted, before I could explain the game to everyone. I was so excited I didn't even hear her sneak up. Wait, how did she know? It must have been her that made that thump sound on the wall. She was probably listening through the wall. Go away, I said angrily. You can't tell me what to do, she screamed, causing people passing by to look our way. Stop screaming, I ordered. People are staring. So what? If you weren't so mean, I wouldn't have to scream, Sochi said, stomping off towards the lower grades playground. She gets on my nerves, I said, clenching my fist. Seems she's got the annoying sister part down, Paul said. Don't forget the tattletale part too, I added. So, are you going to tell us about the new game or what? Justin asked, the look of excitement still on his face. Seems everything that just happened didn't even faze him. Well, I began. As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. Just then, the morning bell rang. Guess I'll have to tell the guys later. Remember, your final draft is due by next Thursday if you want full credit, Mrs. Whiston reminded us. Every day after that, your grade will drop by 10%. Seems all those research papers she had us doing was just practice for an even bigger research paper. This one had to be 5 pages long in total, not front and back. If it was, I would probably have died. I mean, come on, can you imagine how many drafts I would have to do to make sure all the spelling was correct? Psst, TJ, Justin whispered from behind me. I pretended not to hear him. I know what he wanted. He wanted me to tell him about my new game. And I would have told him too, except Mrs. Whiston had already given us a final warning. Too many kids had been talking during class, and she was not in a very good mood. I had already gotten in enough trouble for 1 week. I was not about to add to my punishment. Come on, TJ, he whispered louder. Shouted. You don't have to talk, just write it down for me. Whose name should I add to the board now? Mrs. Whiston asked. She already had 7 up there. And like I said, I am not about to add my name to that list. I could feel Justin burning a hole in the back of my head with his eyes. I could also imagine the face he was making. It's the same one he always makes when he doesn't get his way. But he was just going to have to wait like everyone else. Come on, TJ, Paul was saying as we walked towards the office. You can tell us now. What's your game called and what's it all about? Sorry, guys, I apologized. I have a meeting with Principal Martinez. But you can still tell us before you get there, Paul pleaded. I decided that I don't want to get your guys' hopes up in case Principal Martinez doesn't approve the game, I explained. Aw, no fair, Justin whined. Sorry, guys, I said as I opened the door to the office. Not cool, TJ, Sammy said. Not cool at all. I thought they were going to follow me in, but instead they stayed outside, peeking through the window as if they were going to be able to hear the meeting between Principal Martinez and me. Good morning, TJ, Mr. Ellis greeted me. Principal Martinez is finishing up an unexpected meeting. He'll be right with you. Thank you, I said as I took a seat in the waiting area. I decided to look over my notes and the artwork I had prepared to make sure that I was truly ready for this meeting. Just 2 days ago, I had sat in this very same chair, and I was scared and nervous beyond anything I'd ever felt. And now here I sit, just a couple of days later, without any fears or nerves whatsoever. Actually, I was quite excited, almost giddy. What a difference a couple of days can make. And don't forget what we agreed upon, Principal Martinez told a fourth grader. I hope I don't have to see you in my office anytime soon, or there will definitely be consequences. Yes, sir, the fourth grader responded through sniffles as he walked past me. His eyes were red, from crying, I guess. I'm not sure what he did, but I guess Principal Martinez had scolded him good. Then again, it also seems like he was getting a second chance, just like I did. I guess Principal Martinez was telling the truth when we spoke the other day. He is like Professor Xavier. He had given me a second chance to make things right, and it seems like he was giving this kid another chance too. Ah, TJ, Principal Martinez said with a completely different tone in his voice. I've been looking forward to our meeting. Come in. I stood up from my chair and followed him into his office with my notebook clutched to my chest. Take a seat, he said as he motioned to a chair around a circular table in front of his desk. I wasn't expecting to see you back so soon. Me neither, I responded. So, you've already finished the task I gave you? He asked as we sat down. Yes, sir, I answered. Guess those problem-solving skills and real-time responses to real-life solutions came in handy, he said as he quoted me from our previous meeting. How did he remember the exact words I had said? I barely remembered what I said. Yes, sir, I said as I opened my notebook and removed some artwork Marcus and I had done yesterday. So this is it, Principal Martinez asked. Yep, I said with a bit of pride. Looks interesting, he said, carefully examining each diagram. What's it called and how's it work? Well, it's called Heroes and Villains. It goes like this.